Mm.
I will confirm. And we're live.
We are indeed. We are indeed. Sorry for this double audio. I got it cut out. All right, hubba hubba. How you feeling?
Fantastic. As usual.
Yeah, comfy, man. I love this background. Yep.
Oh yeah, dude. Background is super comfy.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, well, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hell yes, dear listener. The HSP boys are back in the saddle once again for episode number 106. Thank you so much for saddling up with us. 2 separate continents, 2 separate countries, 2 separate adult beverages just to make it fair, and 2 separate cups of coffee. 2 separate fact shamings, 2 separate mansplainings, 2 separate trails to the same inevitable conclusion. 106, dear listener. I frankly cannot find anything remarkable about 106 except for this episode of HSP right here. So let's get into it, shall we? The trail grows longer each and every single week. And 106 means we have 106 miles to ride on this trail right here, right now. So let's not tarry. Let's saddle up and ride into episode number 106, which is in the house presently. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. Send us feedback at zero-gravity-media.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and TuneIn, all 4 under Zero Gravity Media. You can't find us on Podbean anymore. Dear listener, Podbean is dead to the HSP boys. Find us right here on YouTube. Look for Zero Gravity Media and our God tier, Zero G logo. Leave us some feedback using the contact form at our website, zero-gravity-media.com/contact. 2 avenues for feedback. Dear listener, we read it all, too. Each episode, Luke and I like to call out one city. And this city, the magic of this city, is the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week. So without any further ado, the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week is... Once again, as always, back up at the front of this posse, our dear listeners, our dear riders in Mountain View, California. Mountain View, thank you so much. Welcome back to the front. We've missed you. We've been forlorn without you, and here you are back again. And dear listener, also keep in mind, this is still only based on audio metrics, and we're still blowing it up on past episodes on podcast format. We're making some changes. You can see our comfy background right now. Thank you, Luke. Luke found us something comfy. We're taking steps, dear listener. Luke and I tried some experiments before we hit the red button to get into this, and the experiments failed. But
unanimous. Yeah. Categorically, I should say.
Yes, they did. But we'll get it together next week. It basically has to do with vocal enhancement for now. So bit by bit, stride by stride, dear listener, we're going to get there.
I was going to say, and integration of intro and outro music as well.
Yeah,
we're getting that back in. By the way, I'm hearing an echo. I'm hearing myself echo, Russ.
Is it you? I don't hear you echo. Huh.
Yeah, I'm hearing myself echo. Now I don't. We're good.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. How are things going? Sorry, dude. I got distracted there for just like 1 second. Yeah. How are things going, man?
Busy. Good busy. Well, good and bad busy. And it just is what it is. And dear listener, speaking of busy, I am booked for the next 2 weekends. We're going to have a little bit of chop in the schedule. I would imagine, looking into the future, that Luke and I will probably stream the next 2 Sundays, not the next 2 Saturdays. And I haven't even talked with Luke about that. Well, we talked about it a little bit last night. I mean, are you cool with that, doing Sundays?
Yeah, totally. Because I'm going on I got that, based in red pilled European vacation policy going on. So I just came off of 3.5 weeks of vacation, and now I have to take another 2 weeks and a half.
Oh,
so I'm, yeah, dude, I work next week, and then I'm off again until January 4th. So, yeah, we can do like multiple streams each week if you want. It's whatever.
Yeah, I'm on vacation too, man. My boss doesn't know it yet, but I am. so yeah, I got a couple things I got to do. Man, I got to still Christmas shop. I haven't bought a damn thing yet, so I'm behind at this point. So So, but we'll get it done. We'll get it all done, dear listener. We'll get it done.
Yeah. I've bought a few things so far. Jessica makes this like I think I explained this on a past show, but for my advent calendar, she wraps like 24 individual little tiny presents and puts them under a tree on my desk.
Yeah, you have.
And I unwrap them one day at a time, and then but I felt bad. I was like, I got to step up my game a little bit because I get her these like crappy little cardboard advent calendars like from the grocery store. So this year I was like, I'm going to step up my game, and I found something on Amazon where you can like they're really cool. They're like little pouches, and you can like put a candy in there or whatever, and then you pull the drawstrings, and then you pin them up on like a clothesline, and it's like super Christmassy looking. And anyways, so yeah, stepped up my game this year on my. But I had to buy 24 presents. Now I have to buy like all the actual real presents.
Right. Right. Yep. All right, man. Updates in Aggie football. We have just taken the lead against Auburn, dear listener. We are retaking the lead. We are 21-20, Luke, at the moment. So, and dear listener, once again, if I am distracted, my apologies. I've got the game on here in the background. I will get focused. We're in the fourth quarter, so I'll be back in the saddle 100% pretty quick. I always am. So anyway, yeah, 21-20. Yeah. So.
Well, all right, dude. Let's jump into the latest election dumpster fire. What are your thoughts?
Well, man, I have cliff dived this week. I have been pill of colored right and left and center. And I've also kind of found my ass in the saddle again. Dear listener, I think it's a long shot, and not for the reasons that Rush Limbaugh claims, not for the reasons that anybody claims. It's the court system is rigged against us, and we pretty much have one option left at this point, as I see it, and those are the routes of state legislatures in the battleground states. There is a lot going on in all 5 of those battleground states, but a little bit, Luke, and I wanted to talk to you about this, a little bit of interesting polling turned up this morning via the Trafalgar Group, and their polls are God tier accurate. Okay. 58% of all Georgia citizens want a special session to be called in Georgia so that they can overturn the Democrat Electoral College being sent to Washington. Okay. The Democrat delegates. Okay. There has been massive proof of election malfeasance in Georgia this week. Dear listener, you've seen it. You've seen the videotape. You've seen the testimony, right? We're going to play a little bit from Michigan for the audio break because of the waifu, but I get ahead of myself. But a lot has been going on in Georgia. We have a recalcitrant governor in the form of Brian Kemp, corrupt governor, and Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, who refused to take any action because it's not politically expedient for them to defend a free and proper election. Okay. Now, there is a fly in the ointment here, and that is that Donald Trump is throwing a huge rally in Georgia tonight, on the stage of which will be David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. Now, some people say Loeffler, I say Loeffler. That's how you say it in Texas. Also, because I like to throw the pun of Kelly Leftler. so there's that. So this is going to change things, and Luke and I are a little bit over our skis on this right now. But dear listener, there is absolute voter fraud in Georgia. Absolute. 58%, according to Trafalgar, want a special session of the legislature to be called to overturn the election and send Donald Trump's electors to the Electoral College. Okay. Donald Trump's delegates, the Republican delegates. That's good. 53% of all Georgians, according to Trafalgar, think there was some type of malfeasance, which it's not even a think at this point, dear listener. There was. It's proven. Absolutely proven. And so there's a lot to take apart here, dear listener. It's been a wild ride of a week. And, before I get granular in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Luke, I kind of want to throw it back to you and get your overall thoughts about things. I think Pennsylvania is the keystone. Georgia, I think, will be the first domino to fall if any dominoes fall. What are your thoughts in macro? What do you think about things?
Well, first of all, I have to make a correction on myself. Last week, I said Lynn Wood was the attorney who represented the Covington Catholic school kids, Covington boys, and that's not true. It's Robert Barnes. Lynn Wood is representing Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah. He did represent the Covington kids, though. He was on there.
Robert Barnes did.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of Robert Barnes this week. He does some live streaming.
I know him.
And he was pill of coloring, big time. And I trust his opinion. So there's a couple things to unpack here. First of all, I think the Trump campaign the Trump campaign legal team was asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
In the run up to the election, I still think they're asleep at the wheel. I've lost faith in them. Lynn Wood, after his his speech, at first I was kind of like all pumped up about it, and then I was like, actually it just sounds like I'm in an evangelical like Bible.
My thoughts. Yep.
The walls of Jericho are gonna come down. I was just like, Jesus, dude. Like,
exactly what not happen at that moment. What it was supposed to be was a press conference, dear listener, and it turned into a fucking revival. And not what was needed. What needed to happen were facts. Facts needed to be dropped in that moment, and instead, it was all hype. So I'm with you on that 100%. And dear listener, Luke and I haven't even discussed this, and we're on the same trajectory.
Robert Barnes also pointed out that they're just making rookie mistakes. For example, they should be filing these suits. First of all, the Trump legal team does not have an election fraud expert on their legal team. Number two, they should be filing these suits in state courts, not federal courts.
Yep.
And he was saying the reason for that is because everyone's gone on, and this actually was pill of coloring as well, because everyone's like, oh yeah, Trump appointed like 250 federal judges. Guess who all those judges are? They're all Federalist. No, they're all Federalist Society judges. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, why the hell is that a problem? Because I thought Federalist Society is like based in red-pilled. But no, Federalist Society just makes sure that they're all political bootlickers. All these judges that have been appointed by Trump are all basically the kind of judges that George W. Bush would have appointed. They're all cucks. They're all bootlickers. And this is why all of Trump's lawsuits are getting kicked out of the federal courts. And in fact, they're embarrassingly getting kicked out.
Yeah.
So all these judges that Trump has appointed are all cucks. They're basically useless, and they're filing in federal courts when they should be filing in state courts. And they don't have an election fraud expert on their legal team. Rudy Giuliani should not be litigating. He should be out doing PR and doing this sort of thing. He shouldn't be the litigator. They should have lawyers who are familiar with those precincts and familiar with those judges, and they know people. It's not just Sidney Powell swooping in from out of nowhere with a judge whom she's never met. After listening to Robert Barnes, I listened to it this live stream like 2 to 3 times this week, and then I did a bunch of reading on my own. I was just like, wow, I have basically lost. Before my mentality was they know more than me. I don't know what's going on. Now my mentality is they don't know what's going on either. And they're making a lot of rookie mistakes. And now they're going to have to prove me wrong if I think they're going to pull this out. And that goes for Sidney Powell, the Kraken, and Trump's legal team. They're going to have to surprise me at this point.
Damn.
Now, do I want that to happen? Absolutely. Of course. Do I want this malfeasance of our election system taken care of? Absolutely. But at this point, I am like dude, the odds of this happening are so astronomically thin. And I know people are going to be, messaging us after this and, oh guys, you're all black pilled and pill of colored. And, you can't give up, this is all part of the plan and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, again, we have to we are on the right because we are realistic. Like you don't just follow blindly down a path and quote unquote trust the plan, or just say, I mean, we're trying to be realistic here, okay? And I want to believe that there's something going on. Rudy Giuliani isn't actually making rookie mistakes and all this sort of stuff, but they've got some major hurdles to overcome. And they're not doing a whole lot at this point to give me confidence in the process.
Yeah, couldn't say it better. And dear listener, I can't speak for Luke on this, but I'm not out of this fight until the president concedes, right?
Likewise. Yeah. That goes without saying.
Yeah. And there have been a lot of pills this week, a lot that is really good stuff, not the least of which are the video that was proven in Georgia, election fraud, right? The tale about the guy in Pennsylvania whose trailer was stolen with up to 288,000 ballots inside from a mostly Republican-leaning area of Pennsylvania. And a lot of shoes have dropped this week. But, Rush Limbaugh explained it yesterday in terms of he is black-pilled about it as well, Luke. Pill of colored. Whoa, my bad. Sorry about that. Don't cancel us, right? He is pill of colored as well. And he explained it in terms of he does not see the legislative, governmental Republican Party will about things. Rush, you're wrong about this. And I'm going to tell you why. Very simply and most respectfully, Rush. Their will does not matter. The will of the American people matters. They work for us. And so for you to say that you don't see the political will to make this happen is absurd. What you see is obstruction, Rush. It is not lack of political will. It is obstruction to the people's will, right? Definitely in line with those Trafalgar poll statistics that I just cited just a moment ago, and I can prove it. Okay. So Luke, it is rookie mistakes. And there also seems to be, I mean, even just this morning, David Perdue, for whom the president is going to throw a rally tonight in Georgia, was shit talking the president that he should give up. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of other things, at work here, such as Raffensperger, settling like Mark. Oh shit, what is his name? Alias Mark.
Elias Alias. I'm actually not
Elias.
sure. I know it's in print. Yeah,
Mark Elias. Yeah, he works for Perkins Coie.
Yeah.
You want to know where all the shit got underway? It was this motherfucker, and I'm sorry for the language, dear listener, but it's him. It's Mark Elias. He's an attorney. He specializes in election law. And what happened in the lead up to this election? He amassed an army of lawyers, and they sued every single state in the United States to get signature verification standards lowered in the run-up to the election. So when they're like, "Oh, we need signature audit," you see Raffensperger and the governor of Georgia as well, like going back now, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do signature audits." That doesn't do shit because they already compromised the standard of the signature audit.
Exactly.
It's not going to do a damn thing. And not only that, but Raffensperger's lawyer is also the lawyer who's representing, in this case, Trump's team.
Yes.
The lawyer himself is compromised. You can't make this shit up. So he's got the lawyer, Trump's own lawyer, has a conflict of interest where he's like, well, I settled with Mark Elias for Raffensperger to compromise the signature, and then now my other client is suing them over that.
Yep.
What the hell is he going to do? Not a damn thing. This is why I say rookie mistakes. It's like, what the hell? Dude, this is the first week when I've been like, I think even Trump doesn't understand what's going on with this,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Mark Elias just went and basically just gutted signature verification in like all of the states that matter. All these secretaries of state, who's the one responsible for certifying the election, compromised on it all. They settled it. So it's all compromised. So the recount doesn't matter. Audit doesn't count. Signature verification, that doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it. It's pointless because they've already, in the lead up to this election, Trump's legal team and everybody else was asleep at the wheel. Meanwhile, the left was over there suing the shit out of everybody and compromising the elections weeks and months before in the lead up to the election. It was already compromised before election day came around.
That's right.
So, now one of the lawsuits, one of the Trump appointed attorneys who threw out I think it was the Pennsylvania lawsuit, was under laches grounds. And I don't know if you're familiar with what laches grounds are, but laches grounds are basically like when you sue somebody over something like a rights violation, for example. In this case, like a equality violation, equity. Every vote has to be equal, right? The judge, it was a Trump-appointed judge, Federalist Society cuck judge, and Federalist Society has a monopoly over who gets appointed as federal judges. Yeah. This is why this is a problem. But they threw out Trump's lawsuit on laches grounds, and what laches grounds are is when you sue somebody over something like equity. What they say is you had all this time to sue over this. You knew about this, and now in the 11th hour, you're suing over it. No, I'm throwing it out. You had all this time. And a Trump-appointed judge threw out Trump's lawsuit on the grounds that they already had so much time to sue over it, and they knew about it, that he said, no, fuck this. We're not hearing it. You're too late. You're late to the party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude.
That's right. Yeah. They're
asleep at the wheel, man. I've lost faith in Trump's legal team. It's this is the first time I'll say this, but if Trump isn't inaugurated on January 20th, it's the right needs to grow a pair and have the moral conviction to stand up and say the rules of the game are compromised and we're at fucking war.
Yeah.
And it needs to become real political warfare before it becomes actual warfare. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. But seriously, like the right needs to grow a pair, and they're over here playing t-ball, and meanwhile the left is in the World Series and they've compromised the ump. You know.
Yeah.
Like they need to stand up. They need to believe in what they need to identify what they believe in, and then they need to stand for it. And that's all they need to do. Once they do, we win, because like we have the truth on our side. We have the winning politics on our side. We have the winning ideas on our side. We have everything going for us. It's only a lack of moral conviction and moral courage. That's the only all we have to do is have that, and we win. That's it. Done.
Well, yeah. And a resistance to the mega agenda, frankly, a resistance to that. All of these cucks want back in Washington. They want the swamp to not be drained anymore and get back into business with China, and we can all feather our nests. That's how corrupt it is, dear listener. And it's not just Democrats.
They're over here going, well, if we don't buy in too much to the mega agenda, then we've got some plausible deniability later, and we can apologize to the swamp, and then they won't gulag us,
Right.
That's how pathetic these people are.
Yeah. Right. That said, all right, let's pill a little bit here. The Georgia video was good. Okay. The Nevada lawsuit being thrown out yesterday was bad, but it was thrown out with prejudice as well. But they have already begun the appeal process to a higher court, an appellate court in Nevada. That's good. Okay.
By the way, three out of 4 Trump's lawsuits that have been thrown out are all by Trump appointed judges.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I know. I saw that this week too. It's like, damn.
Thank you, Federalist Society.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. That's how deep the swamp is, dear listener.
Yeah.
That's how deep the swamp is. So, and by that rationale, should a case make it to the Supreme Court, you can set your watch to the fact that ACB will vote against it, right? And she'll have a constitutional reason, but you can set your watch to the fact that she will.
You think ACB is going to cuck too?
Depends on the argument. I do believe her in her hearings when she said it depends on the case before me how I decide. I do believe her about that. But like, it is going to have to be bombshell after bombshell after bombshell after bombshell in order to get the ball across the line at this point and get ACB's vote. That's what I think. Now, there have been some, to be fair.
I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of faith in any of the process between now and Supreme Court. Okay. Mm-hmm. I do have faith if we get to the Supreme Court.
Okay, good, man. Good. Well,
because Alito's based in Red Pilled. Clarence Thomas is based in Red Pilled. Kavanaugh, I mean, what the fuck does he have to gain from the left at this point? I mean, he's a serial rapist, and so like, what does he have to gain? So ACB is the only one who could cuck, but I honestly don't think she will, man. I think she'll be
okay. All right. Well, that's good. Thanks for pilling me on that.
If we can get all this shit to the Supreme Court, if we can just get it all to the Supreme Court, and I don't know, maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's been the plan all along, is like they don't need election attorneys and all this stuff because they knew all along it's going to go to the Supreme Court. I don't know. Maybe there is a plan. Maybe there is a follow the plan strategy going on here.
Yeah, maybe
Trump did set a booby trap for the left. Maybe that's what all this was all about. I don't know. It doesn't seem. I see nothing but more and more indicators that Trump and his legal team were asleep at the wheel, and they just did not realize how nefarious the left actually is. Mm-hmm. But then the other side of me says, how could they possibly not know that? Right. Rudy Giuliani
Trump has been mentioned about it since the lockdown happened. So yeah, rightfully,
he was tweeting about election fraud. He was tweeting about voter fraud in 2012.
Yeah, he was.
Trump, long before he ran, he's known about this, So it's like one side of me is like, okay, every indication points to they're asleep at the wheel. But on the other hand, I'm like, they couldn't possibly have been asleep at the wheel because they've all known about this for so long. And Rudy Giuliani being the mayor of New York, you think this shit hasn't been happening there for decades,
Yeah.
So
I share your ambivalence. And also, dear listener, okay, I think that the rip in the sail, the rip in our sails happened this week with William Barr coming out and we have seen no evidence of fraud in the election, at least none that would turn the results. And then he qualified it the next day. Dude, fuck you. Okay, there has been nothing but fraud. Yeah, there has been nothing but evidence of fraud. And right on cue, when he makes that statement, then the next day, they drop the Georgia videotape. Then the next day, the Pennsylvania truck driver's story comes out where 244 ballots were stolen. They are still missing. Yeah. And
I think a lot of people need to understand that sworn affidavits that's evidence.
It is evidence.
That's not hearsay. That is permissible as being evidence in a court of law. A sworn affidavit is.
Yeah.
This is I love going back to My Cousin Vinny, and I have to say I cited that on this show way back at the the impeachment hearings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Long before, who was it that cited it a couple days ago?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Was that Rudy Giuliani?
Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. I love My Cousin Vinny is like such a good example because like they have everything. You've got like you got the witness testimonies, right? A sworn affidavit. So if you think about it, My Cousin Vinny, when you have the witnesses and they're like, I saw him drive off. I was making my grits and I saw him peel out of the parking lot and drive off. That's as good as a sworn affidavit. It's just verbally being said in the court of law.
That's right.
So like. People want to write these things off as like, oh, sworn affidavit. Oh, cool story, bro. Tell it again. Like, no, that's evidentiary.
Yes, it is. It is.
So, sorry, I forgot. Where was I even going with that? What were you talking about before that?
I'm assuming that you're going that there were some white pills this week. I assume that's where you're going. Yeah. Yeah.
No. Okay. I was only pill of colored this week. That's all.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I mean, there were some white pills.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, white doesn't exist. So there were some pills.
Pills. Yeah.
Yeah. There's pill of color, and then there's pills, and that's it.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, there were some pills this week. You know, the 3-dimensional waifu.
Yeah, she was good. The African American lady with the blonde hair by the last name of Tarver, Laura Lee Tarver. Man, she was outstanding, and she was an absolute expert, subject matter expert, as well as somebody who knocked the ball out of the park. So yeah, that was good. You know, lots of good stuff. So,
dude, describe to dear listener, and this is fun. I want you to describe to dear listener the 3-dimensional waifu. It was so funny because like she was trending on Twitter. It's like, oh, drunk lady, you know, is the star of Giuliani's testimony or whatever hearing. And I was like, oh, I have to check this out. So I clicked in and I watched like a little soundbite, you know, and dude, I'm sorry, Russ, like this is very mean. She's a mother of children, and you know, like, but dude, she looks straight out of like the opening scene of a like Brazzers shoot or something. Like the little glasses and like the cute dress, the cute suit, and the blonde hair. It's like you can't make this shit up, dude. And then just like the way she was like talking, it cracked me up. But I was at the same time like cheering her on, you know, like, you know. And dear listener, like, so I was like bookmarked this in my brain. I was like, okay, you know, later today I'm gonna watch this like in full. And I open it, and 14 seconds in, I hear Discord ding ding ding, and it's Russ calling me.
Yeah,
he was like, "What's up, man?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing, about to watch this this blonde chick." It was I don't know. It was just funny. It was like the universe was calling and telling, you know, Russ that I was about to watch this.
Yeah.
But tell him about her, dude.
Well, okay, man. She's a 3.14 QT. All right. Total waifu material. Very smart. I do think I've watched her entire testimony twice. The first time the left was squawking about her being drunk, I was like, man, the girl isn't drunk. Then I watched it again on Friday morning. I was like, damn, she may be drunk. She might be, right? But
maybe she was nervous, man.
Could be nervous. Yeah, she could be. But she does not take shit. And she has sacrificed mightily just for speaking the truth. And that is awful, to the point that as she testifies, and you're going to hear it at the audio break, dear listener, her children have been threatened. Man, that's unbelievable. And then
threatened.
Yeah. That's the other thing I noticed about her. She doesn't pronounce that hard second syllable. Threatened. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You know what I mean? I love the way she speaks. So yeah. So
I just thought it was funny. Yeah.
I thought she was great, and I think she also credibly testified to voter fraud. You know what I mean? Well, election fraud.
All of them, dude.
Yeah, credibly.
All of them, man. It's insanity.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, if this makes it to the Supreme Court, I don't know how they could not rule. Like, this is like a preponderance of evidence at this point. You know,
it is, and that's all really you have to prove is preponderance of evidence. It's not a criminal trial yet. Not yet.
Well,
yeah. So,
I mean, dude, that's I want Trump to be reelected for two reasons. One, as a matter of justice, to know that we can have confidence in our voting system.
Indeed.
And number two, so that like maybe he actually does drain the swamp in his second term.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do it in his first term.
No, he didn't. He made some naive mistakes as well. Now, you know, the QAnon narrative, for example, dear listener, among many other narratives. Okay, there are thousands of people out on YouTube that are actual attorneys that see traps being laid, and I'm not sure I disagree. Right? Again, as soon as William Barr said that, oh, there's no, dear listener, there's one thing. If you're William Barr, you say, as Attorney General, you say, we will investigate any evidence that is presented of voter fraud. You don't come out and say, when you haven't investigated, we haven't found any evidence of voter fraud. Of course you haven't. You haven't investigated it, right? Lynn Wood tweeted at him this morning asking him those questions. Did you actually investigate? No, he didn't, right? So one could argue credibly that maybe William Barr is a swamp rat and has been ensnared. Maybe. Okay. If this trust anything that I'm just getting sick of, dude, because the hour is late. We have until the 8th before electors are picked. That is 3 days from when Luke and I are blasting right now. And we have until the 14th when they vote. Now, a white paper has come out from the Amistad Project or Thomas More Society. It dropped this morning that is not constitutional, that because of all of this provable voter fraud going on right now, the only thing prescribed by the Constitution is the January 20th inauguration. They happen to be correct about it. Does it matter? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's a white paper after all, you know. It's not court evidence. So we'll see what happens with it. But so my point is this. Maybe all of these traps have been laying, okay? I know one thing is true. It is most certainly true, is the watermark story about pre-watermarked ballots. That is true, at least in Georgia. I don't know about other states yet. I've heard it's true in California and Arizona, but I know that Sidney Powell is suing on that, and I've seen the evidence there too in Georgia. It is true. So now, as I said back in episode number 105, we have a very easy mechanism for throwing out fraudulent ballots. The ones that don't have the watermark, they're invalid. They're cheap Chinese copies, as Luke and I played from that video from China in episode number 105. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and look at it. That's true. That is true. So I don't know, man. Maybe a trump card cometh. You know, trusty planning. I know, but
yeah,
you know,
I'm not. I mean, again, dude, I'm not. I'm holding the line. I tweeted out. I don't remember what it was, but it was something to the effect of like, I'll sit here patiently and hold the line until is going to become has become.
Yeah, man. But I mean, we're full on Bastogne right now, dear listener. We're Battle of the Bulge right now. We're in the freezing cold with no equipment, no ammunition, no heavy coat whatsoever, freezing our asses off and getting strafed by Nazis right now. That's where we're at. Yeah, but I'll hold the line anyway. And so will Luke. So I'm glad to hear you say that, man. Yeah, I'm not quitting until the president does, and that's just it. So
yeah,
but
totally.
You know, dear listener, you know, while we're pilling here, okay. God, I have so much show prep this week, and I haven't even gotten to any of it. But while we're pilling here, when we talk about the Trafalgar Group polling, okay, 58% want a special session called right now. 53% of all Georgians think there was voter fraud. Okay, that means 53% of Georgians think the election was rigged. Okay. Let's take the ultimate pill of color and assume that Joe Biden is inaugurated on January 20th. With 53% against you, 58% against you, just in Georgia and the rest of the country as well, you do not have the consent of the governed. You are a tyrant at this point. And provably, I mean, not even provably, just logically, you do not have the will of the people on your side. And that is a very wonderful pill indeed, right? You cannot rule without the consent of the governed. If you rule without the consent of the governed, you are a tyrant, pure and simple. And the will of the people is with us, dear listener. And that is indeed a mighty fact and very pilling, the ultimate pill, right? That's why I was bitching at Rush a while back about I just don't see the political will. Who cares? Who cares? It's the will of the people. And if the governors, our rulers, do not act in accordance to our will, then we are being lorded over. And they do not provably have our consent to govern us right now. Dear listener, Trump's rally tonight is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. I will be watching intently. You believe this. So anyway,
I want to get your opinion on something about this whole narrative around like, well, if Trump doesn't turn this around, then our country is lost because we can't trust the voting system at all.
Well, I think it's true. I think it's true. Does that
so
mean you don't vote? No, you vote anyway, but I think it's true, you know?
So But if that were true, then there comes another argument where it's like, okay, well then what's the point of all this that we're doing? Why keep doing the podcast? Why keep caring about politics? Why even bother? Why try?
Well, dear listener, you're right. And it's not just me and Luke. There are a lot of digital soldiers out there. Steve Bannon, Dan Bongino, a lot, right? A lot. The reason that we keep doing what we do, now I can't speak for them. I can speak for Luke and I, right? Because when Luke and I did this, right, we did episode 1, and before we did episode number 2 of HSP, we had a conversation about and we've told this story numerous times. It's nothing new. What is it that you want to do? And Luke asked me that, and I was like, I want to save the world, bro. I'm not so arrogant as to think that I can, but I want to do my part, right? And Luke was like, that's exactly it. Dear listener, that's why we're moving to YouTube, right? It's not that Luke and I want to be internet celebrities. We don't give a shit about that. We happen. Yeah, right. Exactly. We happen to have called this. Yeah. Right. We happen to have called this correctly for a year and a half. Constantly. We've very rarely made a mistake, and we've made predictive information.
Dude, no, we've been doing this for way longer than that. We've been doing this for 2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about just for the last year and a half since basically election season began.
I understand. I understand. Yeah. I see where you're going. Okay, yeah.
And we called all of it, that they would collapse the economy because that's Trump's strongest talking point. They did. We called so many things, dear listener, right, that others of our peers did not call. And so,
or if they did, they were late to the party.
They were late to the punch. Yes. And we called it early. And so, dear listener, that's why we're doing this, is to keep everybody honest, to keep the thoughts in the right direction, right? Because we happen to have been correct constantly, right? And so it's pilling, or rather, it's pill of coloring. It is, but we do it anyway. We took a sacred vow to you and to each other, if I may say, which I do, dear listener, to do this. And we will vote anyway. I mean, if you're in Georgia, I understand your frustration. You don't want to vote for, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue because they've cucked the president. And the entire electoral system has cucked the president. And you're going to be voting on the exact same voting machines within the same mail-in ballot system that cucked the president. You don't want to participate. I understand. If you love your country, you do it anyway. And you have to, right? If you don't show up on the battlefield, dear listener, the enemy just advances, right? If you at least put up some resistance, make your voice heard, it gives them problems. And again, don't forget, particularly in Georgia, 53% of your entire state is with you. And so are Luke and I. And so that's why we do it, Luke. Sorry to go up. Man, I'm ranty today, dude. I'm ranty, man. I need to.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, I mean, that was a great response. I mean, yeah, like if I were, my attitude is pretty much the same. I mean, what else are you going to do? Just lie over and take it?
Yeah. Yeah. Dear listener, I got so pill of colored this week that I was even thinking those thoughts that Luke and I used to have about, like, fuck it, man. Fuck it. I'm just going to go buy a boat. Fuck the United States. I'm out of here. I'm just getting out of here. I'm going to go live everywhere. I'm not going to be, I'm going to reduce my tax burden as much as possible and fuck this system, right? I have been. I fuck the Constitution. Fuck ACB. Fuck everybody. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck it all. No. It's okay to go through these times. When you do go through these times, take a little bit of time off the line. I did. I took a little bit of time off the line this week. I took a couple days, right? Yeah. Give yourself some rest. Go eat have a nice dinner. Do something good for yourself. Give yourself a foot rub. Do something like that so that you can get back in it. And so now I'm focused and pilled, but I think that Luke and I don't want to lead you down a primrose path, that this is, even though the truth is on our side, even though the polling is on our side, even though the fraud and cheating is on their side, I don't want to deceive you for a moment that this looks good. And I think that that's Luke's message as well, because it doesn't look good right now,
No.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll also, like, I want to say this, that don't also go down this path of like, oh my God, everything's lost for forever. I think I told this story like a last episode or week before or something like that. But when I woke up in San Francisco after a hard night of partying and for the 2012 election,
Yeah.
and I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
the country is lost for forever. You know, and it's like Barack Obama basically didn't do shit for his second term, you know? So
Yeah.
have they compromised the vote system? They did
Yeah.
this election. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Will they be able to pull that off next time around? I don't know. There's limits to what people are willing to put up with. And, you know, I'm not going down the Linwood. It's 1776 again. The walls of Jericho are gonna come down. You know, like,
give you credit. That's pretty good.
you know, like, I think that's a little superfluous, but it's not like our country is lost for forever. I mean, look, like, these people are going to get out of office, and, you know, Nancy Pelosi is not going to be the speaker in 2 years. Who the hell knows what the left is going to be 2 years from now? Probably socialist, communist party, something like that.
Yeah.
And people are going to get tired of that shit really quick.
Yep.
Especially if they start coming after your guns and all this. And
yeah.
Maybe there is a little bit of a period of unrest, you know, but I mean, like, it's weird to even be thinking about these things, that we have to consider a fight outside of the context of politics, to even have to think about that. But like, it's not, things can be repealed, things can be fixed. These people are truly evil, truly reprehensible, morally reprehensible. These are evil people that we're dealing with, and, you know, yeah, you have to deal with it. You know, it's just part of life. You know, you can't just you can't just roll over and say, oh, it's done. That battle's over. We lost.
Well,
if the battle's worth fighting, then fight the damn battle. You know, and that's where we're at, and we're not going anywhere. So
well, I did get so pill colored, man, and it was unfortunately it was with John that I was crying. I was just like, man, oh my God. Hey, you know, Constitution is how did I put it? It's a child's fairy tale and all this kind of stuff.
Were you really crying?
Yeah, no, not crying, but I mean, you know, figuratively crying, you know, and he was like, no, it's not. He was like, no, it's not. You know, it's not over. And I'm like, yeah, it is, bro. Yeah, it is. I don't even know why we're talking about this shit. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. And he put down the logic for me. It took me a while to apprehend it and internalize it. So, but I got sane again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, dude, think about the endurance of the Constitution. You know what I mean? And what it got us through in terms of like slavery and all sorts of things. You know, we have a lot of problems with this country. Like, an argument could be made that our current debt situation is far worse than the current vote situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And perhaps that's even true. So, you know, like, we've got problems, not just, and here I am, I'm pill of coloring even more, but like, you know, we've got problems beyond the vote system. That's just what we're all focused on and thinking about right now. Again, I mentioned this on a past show. If Biden is inaugurated on January 20th, he knows who butters his bread, and it's the strength of the American economy. So like, he's not some ideologue socialist. He's not out there, you know, talking about what do you have to lose, but if not your chains, you know, like, he's not join us in the revolution. You know, he's not out there doing that. He's out there, you know, wanting the American economy to keep going on so he can keep squeezing it like a sponge. You know, so is that totally immoral and reprehensible? Absolutely. But does he know who butters his bread? Absolutely. It's a business to him. Being a politician is business. AOC and all these people are ideologues. Those are the people that you really have to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I can guarantee you, Biden and Pelosi and all these idiots are like, oh, we pulled this off now. We need to cool our heels on the next election. Maybe let the Republicans win a few seats in the House. Maybe even give them the House, and then they think they have fair. I can guarantee you, they're hedging and weighing the benefits and versus the risks of allowing people to think that the election is still not rigged. You know, I can guarantee you they're doing that. Whereas AOC and these people are just outright just no, fuck that, steal the election, pack the courts.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So those are the people that are truly evil and that you have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, do you hear a noise in the background on my side?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay, good. We got a hamster today.
Oh,
and,
okay.
She likes to run on the wheel, and it's loud.
Yeah, I can't hear it, man. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Cute. I like it. So
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Before we go to break, we're at 50 minutes, but before we go to break, man, dude, I had a scary ass situation earlier, which was pretty funny, actually.
What's up?
Well, it's called in English, it's called a marten. And it's like a little fox, sort of like if you could mix a fox with like a cat. In German, they're called a Marder.
Okay.
And they're these like vicious little sons of bitches. Like get up in your car and like chew up your rubber hosing, and they get up in your attic and in between the roof and the insulation. Well, like we hear every couple of weeks, like we hear this thing up, and I don't know where the hell it is. I can't figure out if it's in the attic or if it's on the roof or what. So today we set up our Christmas tree, and I was up in the attic, and like we have a pretty small attic, and I was getting a box, and like inches from my face, the plastic starts moving in our attic where the insulation is on the inside, and it was a fucking modder right there, like inches from my face, dude. And every time for the past 4 years, every time I open the attic, I'm waiting for one of these damn things to come lunging out from, like when I open the attic door. Or like you remember in Christmas Vacation when Clark like opens the attic door and the stairs like come down and like nail him in the forehead. I'm waiting for that, except a modder.
Yeah.
Like I open it, so every time I open it, I'm like looking up there and I'm like, oh fuck, and like waiting for this modder to come lunging out and like attacking me in the face. And so it's been like a fear of mine for like 4 years. And so today, finally, one of those damn things was up there. And yeah, man, I had to go to war with a modder. He was stuck between the roof and the insulation.
Dang.
And Jessica was like, come down. I don't want you to get attacked. And I was like, no, I'm getting this fucking thing out of here. And I'm like beating on the insulation, like trying to get that thing out of there. I have a Halloween thing that's triggered by sound that I leave up there. So if he gets into the attic, this like bat thing goes like starts squawking. So I leave that thing up there. But yeah. That damn water scared the shit out of me.
31-20 final. Aggies win. So good game, Auburn. Thank you very much as always. Thanks for letting us in the SEC, and thanks for playing us. So yeah. All
right. The refs weren't rigged.
Yeah, something in the world isn't rigged. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you want to hit break?
Yeah, we can do it, man. Let me find our 3D waifu here. Where's she at? Oh, waifu of the week. Luke and I even talked about last night doing waifu of the week sections because this gal is such a waifu. She is the complete package, dear listener, and she may have been tipsy. Who cares? What's her name, Luke? Melissa Carone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was on Lou Dobbs' show 3 weeks ago, Tucker's show 2 weeks ago. Her testimony is very compelling, and she was a worker for Dominion, a freelance IT specialist for Dominion, and her entire life has been destroyed. It's really a sad story, but it just in the off chance that you haven't heard it, dear listener, Luke and I kind of thought this was the clip. There were many clips of the week. The video, of course, I don't know, but Luke, I kind of have to say I think this is the clip of the week. What do you think?
Oh yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah. So we're going to play it for you, dear listener, just to get it here into objective evidence here in the hallowed halls of HSP. Well, dear listener, thank you so much for riding along with us. Luke and I will be back at you before you know it. And meanwhile, enjoy Melissa Carone. See you in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, Luke? 10 minutes?
Oh, I just put 15 in the banner at the bottom.
15 is good. 15 is good. All right, dear listener, Luke and I'll be back at you. You know what's it?
We'll do 10.
10, 10 to 15. Yeah, 10 to 15, dear listener. Yeah.
We're indecisive. We're both triggered and indecisive today.
Exactly, man. Exactly. All right, dear listener, sorry to be repetitive, but thank you so much for riding along halfway down this 106-mile trek. Luke and I will be back at you before you know it.
PDS staffing to work with Dominion Voting Systems, assisting with IT at the TCF Center. I started work at 6 a.m. on November 3rd, and I worked until 5 a.m. on November 4th. I returned to work at 10 a.m. November 4th and worked until 2 p.m. November 4th. I was initially supposed to return back to work around 4, but I was told via text through one of the other Dominion workers named Samuel that I wasn't needed, that they were almost finished counting. I wasn't going to mention this, being that it has been mentioned numerous times. I was initially supposed to be working. I was initially supposed to be working at the Department of Elections. That was an order from Dominion Voting Systems. They told me that I would be parking in a parking lot and I would be shuttled in through a shuttle. I called my mother and I told my mother about this, and my mom said, no, absolutely not. You're not doing that. I also had a concern about that because I do have two small young children at home and I needed access to my vehicle. What I witnessed at the TCF Center was complete fraud. The whole 27 hours I was there, there was batches of ballots being ran through the tabulating machines numerous times, being counted 8 to 10 times. I watched this with my own eyes. I was there to assist with IT. These people on night shift, I had 4 people on night shift that I've known. One of them I've known for over 20 years. He approached me and said he had absolutely zero training whatsoever, contradicting 100% what Daniel Baxter claims, that they had so much training. He said they had zero. I watched. These people had no idea what they were doing. Okay. Also, the adjudication process, I witnessed numerous people walking up, claiming they were both Democrats, saying they were sitting together, judging ballots all day together. I witnessed it all. I was on the main stage with all of the city officials. Daniel Baxter was in on the whole thing, and I am under the impression 100% that at least 90% of those workers were all in on this. There was not a single ballot the whole night, the whole 27 hours I was there, that I saw that was for Donald Trump. Not one, not a single ballot. That is scary. There is no reason for that. Also, I'm going to say that there was something going on at that Department of Elections, and it's clearly something that's very illegal that occurred there, and I am grateful to God that I did not go there.
Thank you. So Vice Chair Lucido has a question.
Sure.
You were employed by whom to do what?
Okay, so I am a freelance IT worker.
Okay.
I was employed by PDS, P as in Paul, D as in David, S as in Sam, staffing, to assist with IT work for Dominion. At
The software
TCF
company.
Dominion Voting Systems, correct. I was with Nick Atanamagas. He's
Why were-
my manager.
I apologize, but this is very, why did they feel that they needed to have assistance there for the software?
So a couple people have asked me the same question. I cannot answer that. These people were very secretive, and I will say that these people were very, very secretive and just really pushy. I never did I ever admit I was a Republican to these people. The comments that they were making were disgusting.
Regardless of Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, doesn't matter. I'm getting right to the heart of it. what was the instated purpose that the software
To-
company needed to have the assistance of support staff for IT?
I believe that it was because Nick and Samuel, that are permanent employees of Dominion, Nick is a part owner, that they had to be together on the stage, working together. So it looked like they had assistance with IT. Now, I was also not allowed to wear a badge or tell anybody who I was working with.
That's fine. So your opinion that it was them that needed to be there, you don't know anything that was contractual, you don't know if there was anything that was going glitchy, which means that there
Oh,
was,
I know of a lot of stuff that,
but my question is factually, which
Yeah.
means today, as you sit here, is there anything you can tell us
yes.
that was happening with the software where Nick and
Okay. So,
Samuel had to go assist
Mhm,
in this?
absolutely.
What was that?
Okay, so Samuel was missing for about 3 hours. When he returned, I said, "Where were you?" He said, "I was at the warehouse." I said, "Where's this warehouse?" And I said, "Is it an Amazon warehouse? I don't know. What kind of warehouse is it, right?" And he said, "We call it the Chicago warehouse." And I said, "Okay, so it's in Chicago?" Because they're from Colorado. I said, "So it's in Chicago?" And he said, "No, Melissa, it's in Detroit. We call it the Chicago warehouse." I said, "Okay," and I just walked away. But there was something very secretive that he was doing. There was also they said a big data loss right before they sent Samuel to this warehouse.
What time
And-
was that?
That was when Samuel went to the warehouse. That was approximately, it was in the afternoon. I believe it was around 2 or 3,
Is that on the 3rd or the 4th?
the 3rd.
Thank you. I'm okay. You have written testimony for the chair?
I have my
And the
second
committee?
affidavit, and I have what I was speaking off of just
Could you
now.
send that to us, please?
Absolutely.
Include your phone number if you could, in case
Absolutely.
we have questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Before you go, please.
Sure.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When you testify about ballots being counted multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
what are you basing that analysis that they were counted multiple times?
Okay, so, I'm sorry. So the tabulating machines, when a ballot jams, it puts up an error. It'll say discard or recount. So when it puts up that error, when a jam occurs, the correct way to go about it is to discard the whole batch, take the ones that have already been tabulated, put them back into a pile, put the one that jammed on top, and then discard the whole thing, and then rescan them. They were not discarding. So they were just rescanning, counting ballots 8 to 10 times, just recounting them. They had absolutely no idea what they were doing.
So you're saying that they were literally opening up the box, taking the ballots back out of the box, and then sending them through again?
No, they
Okay.
were just taking, so
wanna be
when a
clear on this.
ballot, okay, so when a ballot when the error came up on the PC in front of them, and it said that a jam occurred, I would go try, because it happened so many times in a 27-hour period. Each machine, it did it between 2 and 3 times an hour. So, because these were folded ballots, they're mail-in ballots. So when it occurred, and then it threw up the error, discard, rescan. As I just stated, you are supposed to take the problem ballot that got jammed, put it on top of the whole pile, discard it, because that's why the option is there. If you do not discard it, it is recounting it. So they would take the ones that were, say ballot number 25 had an issue. You had already went through 24 ballots. So you're going to put them back all in a pile, and you're just going to rescan it. So it's counting those 24 again, instead of discarding those 24 and restarting.
So, but that's what I was trying to ask. I mean, so they're literally taking,
Did I answer correctly?
You're saying that they're taking ballots that already went through the machine, taking them and scanning them a second time.
That's absolutely what I said, yes.
So help me understand, because I haven't worked in AV counting center. I've been to my precinct, and when our ballots go into the tabulator, there's no access to them after they're accepted. I mean, they go into a sealed box.
Oh,
There's no
no,
access
these
to
ones,
them.
no, I've heard that too from other states that they do drop directly into
Right.
a steel box. No, the steel boxes were behind them, which I could say a lot about that too, but I won't. But they were using those for barriers for the poll watchers so they couldn't get close, the steel boxes. But no, they
Dang.
were 100% in the counter's hands. This whole process, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. Nick and Samuel that worked for Dominion, they were on the stage. They had a contract employee, me, and another one that was from Texas. I have his name right here, Miles Smiley, 90-year-old man there to assist with IT work. He did not have any kind of background in IT and worked in and lived in Tennessee. So this man was just walking around aimlessly. You know, I was really the only one running around like crazy helping these people.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm not aware that it,
No, and
I
they
mean,
were
the machines that-
responsible.
The machines I've been exposed to don't work that same way, so I was just checking in on it. Senator Tice.
So I'm trying to figure out the whole line of everything here. So you were with the equipment and the tabulators themselves,
Correct.
and they were going to send you to the Department of Elections?
Initially, that is
So
where
did
I
they
was
have-
scheduled.
Tabulators at the Department of Elections?
That's the main question here, huh? Because I was trained on the tabulation and adjudication process, and how many people just came up before me stating that they saw people walking in and out of that Department of Elections with,
Okay.
as I
Then-
stated, I was not supposed to even talk about this today,
and
but
then
I'm going
as
to.
they're scanning, they have a pile of them, they're putting them through a scanner, and the pile, once it's gone through the scanner, is still fully accessible to the person who's
Absolutely,
doing the count.
absolutely.
Okay.
50 times if they wanted to.
Any other members have a question? Senator Lucido?
Yeah,
Senator,
this is interesting. You were trained to oversee.
Dear listener, I'm going to skip forward just a little
I
bit.
was trained
just a
to
little bit.
assist with
Okay,
IT.
here we go.
Was it done by video or was it done with a tabulator?
It was done with a tabulating machine and an adjudication machine in a conference room, and all we did was walk around it and nothing. We were given a binder. I have it right here from Dominion about all their image cast, about how their software works. I have every Dominion employee here. I have the ones that were at
How many were with
the
you in this?
warehouse.
How many?
5 total.
5 total.
2 contract employees, 3 permanent employees of Dominion. Let me just say this, there was 1 permanent employee of Dominion. She went by the name of Danielle. Her real name was China, which she told me later. She's the one who told me Nick was a part owner, which was confirmed later on. She was acting very bizarre the whole night, would start crying, would start saying she couldn't handle being there.
Okay.
I saw the van come in at 4:30 full of ballots. That she left an hour before that, had someone pick her up.
thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, as long as we get her testimony, I would be intrigued to look at whatever you have
Absolutely,
through the chair.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Vice Chair.
Thank
Hold on. I have another question for you, ma'am. Please. Vice Chair Irwin has a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I were to take a ballot, an absentee ballot, and I were to run that through a machine.
Get ready, dear listener.
multiple
Get
times,
ready.
And that ballot were to be counted multiple times, is that machine going to reflect those votes in the vote total at the end of the day? And is that ballot going to be recorded in the poll book 8 times or something? I mean, what's the?
Why do you think the poll books were so off?
Well, they were off a little bit less than they were in previous elections. So unless
No,
your
they were
allegation
off.
is that
They were off 100%.
Excuse me, members of the audience, please respect the.
Sorry, I mean,
the-
you
the
asked me a
witness
question.
and-
What do
Yeah,
you,
ma'am.
what do you expect the answer to
Excuse
I
be?
was
me.
hoping for an answer, but I don't
Ma'am.
think I'm gonna get one.
Excuse me. I couldn't hear what was going on because too many people talking over each other. So if you could please, Mr.
Sure.
Vice Chair, finish your line of questioning. I'd like to hear the end of it, please.
That was the end of it. There was just one question, which was that, you know, if this were to happen, it would show up in the tabulations being off. And we know,
They were
do we know
off.
to what extent that they're off?
They were off.
Right, yeah, we know that.
So why are you asking? What are you asking me?
I'm trying to ask you, if
Sir.
someone were to,
Go ahead.
if someone were to go and run the same ballot
Mhm.
over and over and over again, that would end up showing up as a massive discrepancy, right?
Did
And
I
we've
say
added up the
somebody took a ballot
discrepancies.
and ran it over and over and over again?
You
Just
did,
one ballot or a batch of 50?
Either way, I mean, the batch of
Right.
50 is going to
If
be
you
even
take-
more.
Over again, yeah, people are going to notice that one has been ran over and over. I had numerous challengers come up to me and say, "What's going on here?" One guy got thrown out because he took a picture of me.
Sure, I'm just wondering why the numbers at the end of the day aren't matching up with the stories that we're hearing. I'm trying to square that circle. And I know there's going to be an
Your question
investigation
is
of
as
all of
good as
these
everybody
allegations.
else's in here.
Yeah, there's
Why
going to be an
isn't it ma-
investigation
why
of all
isn't it
this, and we're going to
matching
look
up?
into all
It's
these
not
details.
matching up.
Ma'am,
Everything
ma'am.
that happened at that TCF center was fraud. Every single thing. Every avenue was
Excuse me.
taken to commit it.
please. Appreciate your passion but he feels his question was answered. Appreciate that. I do have one additional follow-up. You
Sure.
mentioned observing ballots arriving
Yes, sir.
late. Do you have knowledge of where they came from?
I cannot say that for 100%. I do not know 100%.
Okay,
Do I assume where they came from? Absolutely.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator McDonald, thank you.
I'll be brief. Your testimony was very compelling. So I just want to go back to what I asked Senator Colbeck. Where is the Department of Justice in this? I mean, without arresting it, I mean, are they even looking into it? I mean, your testimony is unbelievably compelling. So I'm just wondering, where are they?
Okay. Your question is good as mine. So I did call the FBI on November 5th, and
Okay.
I spoke with a woman for at least 40 minutes. The phone disconnected. She had all my information. She never called me back. I had to call them back. I haven't been contacted back since.
You would think that, did you contact anybody from the Trump campaign?
Oh, yeah. I've been
Wouldn't they
talking to
have a
attorneys.
pipeline to the Department of Justice? Well, I mean,
I've been talking to attorneys. What I said just now regarding the Department of Elections and how I was scheduled to work there, that is coming out. That is coming out. That will be coming out next week. There's a lot coming. I was not even supposed to talk about that, but a lot of people mentioned it. So you know what? I'm going to tell you guys about it because this is fraud. Over the microphone, that's what Daniel Baxter said. He said they had food for 1/3 of the workers, and that they would provide food and it would be there shortly. Well, food never came out of these vans.
Yes, what's your point of order, Representative?
We have these people coming in here testifying, making claims. They should be under, we should have them under, what do you call it?
Oh,
Under oath.
Representative,
What's that called?
we don't
What's that
do
called?
that.
What's that called? again?
Representative,
On the oath.
we're not going to do
What?
that.
an affidavit. I'm under
You're out of order, Representative. We don't
Mr.
do that
Chairman,
here in
Mr.
Michigan.
Chairman, she
We've
has-
never done that.
I wrote an affidavit.
Mr. Chairman,
We're gonna move on.
she has an
And Biden
affidavit.
never has done.
She has an affidavit under oath.
And it should not be
Representative.
under oath.
Please continue, and if we could have fewer back and forth, and maybe you can tell your story. No, I'm talking with Mr. Giuliani. We really want to get through this,
I
and
know.
this is sort of a format that is a little unusual to our committee. So if it's possible to tell a little more of your story, and I understand you're trying to speed it up, but we want to make sure we get through everything today, Mr. Giuliani.
Pardon me?
working, where I was initially
Good.
supposed to be working.
And read some from your affidavit. That's your
Sure.
affidavit under oath.
So I have 19 things in my affidavit. I was at the TCF Center for 27 hours. I'm a mother. I have 2 children and I have 2 degrees. I'm very, I would never, I don't know any woman in the world that would write an affidavit under oath just to write it. You know, you can go to prison for this. So anyways, I want to make this very clear. I was initially supposed to work at the Detroit Department of Elections building. That was an order by my manager, Nick Economagounis, part owner of Dominion. I have it all in emails. I was trained on the adjudication and tabulation process. So in the email, it says you are to park in a parking lot and get shuttled over to this, they referred to it as the Chicago warehouse. I know for a fact there was illegal activity going on there. People have pictures of people carrying ballots out of that place. There is pictures of vans full of ballots coming out of that place. If it wasn't for my mother, I would have went there. My mom told me, no way. You know, this sounds really, really weird. And I have 2 young children, as I stated, that I needed access to my vehicle in case something happened. I ended up telling them that, and they said, okay, we'll put you at the TCF Center. Well, Samuel, there was 5 employees, 3 permanent employees of Dominion, 2 contract employees, me, a contract employee, and there was a 90-year-old man. Last name Smiley. I have all of his paperwork. I have all their names, last names. 4 employees that were scheduled to work in the city of Detroit that were not at the TCF Center were all at this Chicago warehouse, which was the city election department building. Anyways, so I also witnessed there was a point in the night where Samuel.
All right, dear listener, I'm going to roll
and
forward
Nick
just a
said that there
little
was a
bit.
big data
Please
loss.
stay with us. Please stay with us. All right.
They started
Be right
freaking
back.
out. Stefano was initially supposed to work there because I'd never even looked up the address. And what I believe is it wasn't a data loss. It was actually when they found out Trump was ahead 100,000 votes, and they sent Nick over there to assist with these ballots that came in these vans full of ballots that people can attest to that they witnessed being carried out of these vans at the TCF Center. I didn't see any ballots being carried out of vans. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see anything being carried out of them, but I know people who have and that did see this occurring. But I also witnessed the adjudication process. Numerous adjudicators machines were because nobody was helping me. I was, running around assisting these people all night long. And it was all day and all night. It was crazy. And they were running these ballots through without discarding them countless times. There was so many ballots ran through these tabulators numerous times. I mean, without any oversight at all. I mean, there's so much. This election, I will say, these Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in this election. And what I saw on the 3rd and 4th was over 20 counts of fraud being taking place in front of my face.
Make sure we're speaking to your experience because we have limited time and we got to
Absolutely.
get our questions in and the
Okay,
other
well-
witnesses. So is there more to your experience? And then,
Well, okay, I called the FBI
okay,
on the 8th, November 8th. I talked to 2 separate women, over 40 minutes. The first one gave her all my information. The phone mysteriously cut out, and
All right, welcome back to HSP episode number 106. Dear listener, you were just listening to Melissa Carone, QT 3.14,
Indeed.
giving her testimony. Yeah, dude, I don't know what it is, man. She's got this attitude about her, man.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. Yep. And dear listener, Luke and I wanted the spicy bits, and we didn't even get them. The point where she says, because Democrats like to ruin your life. Okay. That, and also the shit lib congresswoman who keeps interrupting her. I love how you can just say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we missed all that. And we played 2 clips. It was 31 minutes of testimony. I mean, we were on audio break for damn near 20 minutes. So, sorry about that, dear listener. Thanks for riding with us, though. So,
I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Oh, gosh. Yeah, of course, YouTube. Trump star witness Melissa Carone gets shushed by her own lawyer mid-testimony.
oh
That's
yeah,
a very...
yeah.
That's bullshit. That's a very normal thing to happen. I sued somebody here in Germany. Did I ever tell you about that, Russ?
Yeah, very in explicit detail. Yeah, as it was going on. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my lawyer shushed me mid-hearing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because their stupid bitch lawyer, she was like, well, do you have evidence to produce that? And or no. She was like, well, what she was trying to do was say that like, what, like, if I didn't, what she was trying to do is like pay me less money, like give me less money based upon some sort of like predetermined schedule of when I was supposed to have been working.
Right.
Because it was shift work. And I told her, I was like, please produce my schedule. That way you can see all of the hours that I wasn't paid for overtime. I was like, do it. Pull out my schedule. Pull out all my hours. Because I clocked every single one of them. I wrote them down all on paper. I was like, I would love to know how much money exactly how much money for which I wasn't paid. And my lawyer, I was like, do it. Pull it out. I was like egging on this opposing attorney. I was like, please do it. I want to see all my hours. That would be wonderful. And my lawyer had to like put his hand on my shoulder because I was like leaning into the desk. And that's when the judge was like, okay, I've heard enough of this. And she mercy killed the opposing lawyer. And ruled in my favor, like in that moment. Oh, that felt so good. That was one of the greatest feelings, dude. I was going just BTFOing some bitch attorney. Knowing that you're in the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that was when I came to Germany, dear listener, and I needed my job that I had when I came here was contract work, and that didn't qualify me for a visa. And like we were planning our wedding here in Germany, and it was a huge problem. So I was like, fuck it. And I went and flipped burgers for 9 months until I got like a real job here. It was like pride swallowing after like 10 years of professional experience, but you got to do what you got to do, you know?
At the same time. So yeah.
yeah. You did the same thing at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to living that capitalist life, you know, no work is not, you know, you can't be above work, you know?
Capitalize your time. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, man, so dear listener, there are lots of things going on this week. Lots of things going on with immigration. Mike Lee is a cuck. There is all kinds of shit going on, right? But I think that Luke and I are probably gonna, I don't know, Luke. Let's just ride, man. I have more shit about this election fraud thing, and I'm certain you do too. So, what say you? What do we do? What do we do?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I've pretty much said everything I have to say about election fraud. There's not a whole lot left to say.
Well, okay. I have one thing I do want to read into evidence into these hallowed halls, dear listener. It is a piece that dropped in 2019, 1 year ago, and it seems to have been a prescription for exactly how the Democrats would steal the election. It was written by an attorney named Edward B. Foley. I have it in PDF format. I'm going to take it from the introduction. It goes thus. It is election night 2020. This time, it is all eyes on Pennsylvania, as whomever wins the Keystone State will win an electoral college majority. Trump is ahead in the state by 20,000 votes, and he is tweeting, bad spacing. The race is over. Another 4 years to keep making America great again. Quote, end quote. The Associated Press and the networks have not yet declared Trump the winner, which they have no right to do. Although 20,000 is a sizable lead, they have learned in recent years that numbers can shift before final official certification of election results. They are afraid of, quote, calling the election for Trump, only to find themselves needing to retract the call, as they embarrassingly did 20 years earlier in 2000. Trump's Democratic opponent, underscore, fill in the blank, I will stick with Elizabeth Warren, he says, is not conceding, claiming the race is still too close to call. Both candidates, and so you can tell, all right, Elizabeth Warren is his girl. Pocahontas is his girl. This is a shit lib opinion, as you can plainly tell. Elizabeth Warren is not conceding, claiming the race is still too close to call. Both candidates end the night without going in front of the cameras. In the morning, new numbers show Trump's lead starting to slip, and by noon, it is below 20,000. Impatient, Trump holds an impromptu press conference and announces, this is a LARP piece, dear listener. It's a LARP piece. Okay, I'm going to skip down it a little bit. Okay, Trump's lead is slipping away. First, it drops below 15, then below 10, then below 5. As this happens, Trump's tweets become increasingly incensed and incendiary. Stop this theft right now. Do not let them steal this election from you. Protesters take to the streets in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. So far, the demonstrations, while rancorous, have remained nonviolent. Bullshit. They got very violent. Amid police protection, the canvassing process in Pennsylvania has continued, and Trump's lead in the state diminishes even further. Then several days later, the lead flips. Now Warren is ahead in Pennsylvania, first by a few hundred votes, then by a couple thousand votes, although the AP and the networks continue to declare the race is, quote, too close to call. It is Warren's turn to take to the cameras, declaring victory. Trump insists by tweet and microphone, this theft will not stand. We are taking back our victory. So begins the saga over the disputed result of the 2020 presidential election. This scenario is certainly plausible, or prescribed, one might say. Pennsylvania is indeed a pivotal state in the 2020 presidential election and potentially poised to be the single state upon which the entire election will turn. That role could also fall to Wisconsin or Florida again, or maybe even Arizona, or maybe Georgia. There it is, dear listener. I'm going to skip way down in the piece, okay? And the reason is this. You'll see why. In 2014, I published an article entitled The Big Blue Shift to draw attention to this development, hypothesizing that it is best explained as an unintended byproduct of electoral reforms adopted in the wake of the 2000 fiasco, most specifically, the advent of provisional ballots and the increased use of absentee voting. One possible factor is that provisional ballots, which became nationally mandated by the Help America Vote Act of 2002, and which are necessarily counted during the canvassing process after election night once their validity has been verified, except there was no validation of their validity, none whatsoever, tend to be cast by voters of demographic groups, lost my place, who support Democratic candidates. Imagine. But while this factor undoubtedly contributes to the phenomenon, the number of provisional ballots generally is not large enough to account for the entirety of the, quote, blue shift phenomenon. And the remainder of the explanation is still uncertain. Whatever the exact causal mechanism, we are still in the early stages of studying this phenomenon. this kind of quote overtime gained by Democrats after election night and before the final certification of the canvass achieved national salience in the 28 blah 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 blah. Yeah, still studying it indeed. Again, are prescribing it. And dear listener, I could sit here and read the whole damn thing. It's an 80-page piece. I'm not going to do it, but the reason I find this piece really interesting is that it calls into evidence the election of Martha McSally versus Kirsten Sinema in Arizona, right? The election was called for McSally by 15,000 votes. And then suddenly, in the middle of the night, oh, well, look, we found 150,000 votes, and they're all for Kirsten Sinema. They were in the back of somebody's trunk. Oh, my God. So, dear listener, that was the Blue Book. That was how they did it. That was their trial run, right? And that is exactly what this son of a bitch, Edward B. Foley, prescribes to the Democrat Party in 2019. And this is the exact playbook which they followed. Dear listener, it was planned. It was premeditated. It was premeditated by an academic. Oh, my God. And they followed that playbook from which I just quoted you. The title of the piece is, he's a University of Chicago professor. The Role of the Supreme Court in Electoral Count Controversies is the title of the piece. Go read it. Go read all 80 pages of it and see if it does not sound eerily similar to what is going on right now. Dear listener, let us know your thoughts. zero-gravity-media.com/contact, or you can just post in the chat right now. We've got some people watching, so let us know your thoughts. Go read the piece, though. Go read it. So,
You have a link to that piece?
I do. You want it? You want it?
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll post it in the chat.
All right. Actually, can I chatbot here? I don't think I can.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is. There you go, bro. That's it. Nope. That's not it. Sorry. Don't post that one.
Okay.
Uh,
It looks like the right one.
Yeah, it's not the right one. That's Sidney Powell's lawsuit. We posted that last week. Let me just close that. Okay. Anyways, man, can you get my back while I find the link to this piece here for a sec?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with everything that you just said or read, I should say. But I mean, but we always knew that. Like this, we always knew this was planned, and like we were talking about earlier in the show, like we called this like, so long ago that Trump's either going to win or they're going to steal it. And those are the only two options, and it was premeditated. But it was premeditated way more than we ever would have guessed. You know, so it's kind of hard to blame. You know, earlier I was kind of throwing some shade on Trump and his legal team, but it's kind of hard to blame them because perhaps even they didn't realize how nefarious and evil the left is. Yeah. It's all good. We can post the link later.
All right. There it is. Found it.
You got it?
Yeah, I do. All right. Let me try the honest way first. Can I actually comment? No, I can't. Oh, Nate's in the house. What up, Nate? How's it going? Sorry for this, by the way, dear listener. Sorry. We're boomers, right? We're trying to de-boomer, but it's hard.
Doesn't always work.
Boomer.
Right, it's in the chat.
Yep.
If you want to check it out.
Yep. Yeah. So that's it, dear listener. And oh man, I have mountains of show prep, but we're not going to be able to get to all of it in the prescribed time. So what you got, bro? What you got? What's on your mind?
I mean, that was basically it for this week, dude. It was just this election shit, and I mean, where I got mostly red pilled was just on Trump's legal team and what's going on with that, and kind of definitely took the wind out of my sails this week. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Not jumping overboard yet. You know.
No,
ship's not sinking.
No, not at all. Not at all. I am not out of this fight by a damn bit. not by a damn sight. And so, but dear listener, there is a lot of blackpilling shit going on. There is talk of amnesty going on between Senators Marco Rubio, David Perdue, Tom Tillis, John Cornyn, my senator, who I'm trying to get recalled right now, and I have a prescription for this, and a couple other senators. They went and reached across the aisle, oh my God, on this amnesty deal. Marco Rubio, you son of a bitch, you have never wanted anything but amnesty. That's what you would have done were you elected president, right? So there's that deal going on, and they are going to ramrod through a piece of legislation that is going to be horrifying. Dear listener, it's going to be horrifying. But in the meantime, got a Breitbart piece, and Breitbart, I'm pretty pissed off at you for trying to spike the ball on Lynn Wood. Though he may deserve it. Yeah, don't go there. It's despicable, right? All right, I'll get there in a minute. The title of the piece is GOP/Democrats allow Mike Lee's outsourcing bill to pass the Senate. Every Republican and Democrat senator has seen Senator Mike Lee pass a bill through the Senate that will supercharge the outsourcing of the white collar jobs needed by America's professional class and its college educated children. Donald Trump won the president, blah, 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 blah. The bill hits doctors, accounting, insurance people, teachers, graphic designers, pharmacists, denies college students from ever having an opportunity to get the meaningful jobs. It floods the market, draws down wages, and makes people dependent on government. The name of this bill, dear listener, is called the Fairness to Intelligent Foreign Workers Act, and it just passed the Senate, and it will pass the House. And these cucks, dear listener, no wonder they don't support Donald Trump, and no wonder they won't support him in his quest to conquer election fraud. No wonder they won't, right? They are paid by India, China lobbies in order to pass legislation like this, ramrod it through the Senate, in order to import more foreign workers at a time. Dear listener, when we have 50 million unemployed, we only put up 245,000 jobs this month, dear listener, in the month of November. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And now they are flooding the market with H-1Bs legally. And we can only hope and pray that this gets to Donald Trump's desk before he is out of office, which Luke and I are not conceding that is going to happen, okay? So that he can veto it. But they're going to draw it out as long as possible, dear listener. They're going to deliberately try to get Joe Biden to sign this Fairness to Foreign Intellectual Workers Act, right? And essentially what it does, dear listener, is increase every visa class by a lot, by millions, right? At the same time that we have my senator, John Cornyn, et al., trying to reach across the aisle, oh my God, to amnesty as many as 25 million illegals already here. Dear listener, this is a bad situation.
Yeah, and not only that, but like people need to understand, illegals don't want amnesty. They don't want to be, because then they have to start paying taxes. If something happens, their assets can be seized. Like they enjoy the fruits of being under the radar. They don't want amnesty.
Indeed.
You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, they break the law, they get arrested. What happens? They get deported. And then, dude, I worked with a guy that got deported because he got arrested for driving drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And he was back at work 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that. I think you even told dear listener that. I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like right before Christmas. I was like, oh, cool. So we just like paid for a free ticket home for him for Christmas.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Got to go home for Christmas. 2 weeks later, he's back at work again.
Yeah.
You know? So like they don't care. They don't give a shit. They can, as long as they don't kill somebody and they're not in jail for like 10 years, they don't care. They don't want to be citizens.
Yeah.
This is all about votes and corrupting the vote system.
Yeah, it is.
That's all it is. And then in these cocks on the right, dude, like, do you think the left ever reaches across the aisle?
No, they don't.
when the left calls for unity, what they're calling for is you unify with us.
Yeah, supplication. That's exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, they're never reaching across the aisle. That's complete bullshit.
And furthermore, dear listener, that is what all of this leftist squawking this week about Donald Trump being at the inauguration, which we don't even know if inauguration is going to happen because that dumbass empty suit Biden came out yesterday and said that they were going to have, oh my God, a virtual inauguration. He literally said that. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why they're
Zoom inauguration.
Yeah.
And they're probably they're also, even though it's all virtual and from home, they're still gonna be wearing their masks too.
Oh, of course they will. Of course they will, because they are terrified. Dear listener, we are courageous. They are terrified, right? And so like what this is all about, dear listener, trying to get Donald Trump to commit to attending the inauguration for a fraudulent election. It's exactly what Luke is talking about. You unify with us on our terms. You bend the knee. That's what they're trying Donald Trump to do. And in the words of Steve Bannon, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Donald Trump is not going to show up to the inauguration of a fraudulent president. Okay. I kind of think that is right and just. And I don't care about tradition. Yeah. I don't care about tradition. I don't care about being presidential, peaceful transition of power. I don't care. It was a fraudulent election, and you protest it every which way you can. And that's
we're not going to. There's no committing to a peaceful transition of power when the transition of power was itself fraudulent. It was a fraudulent transition of power, and not only that, I don't even commit to that verbiage at all.
Yeah, right.
Because this isn't about power. This is about enforcing the law and freedom and liberty. This isn't about power. It just goes that whole phrase transition of power just speaks to the psyche of a leftist, you know?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So, oh my goodness, man, we're hemorrhaging, dear listeners. I guess I'm ranting too much. Sorry, dear listener. I'll try to rein it in. Take another
That's
sip.
all good. Maybe we can, I don't know. Maybe we can pill about something.
Sure. Excuse me, dear listener. I am pilled about the fact that all of the post-election polling bears out that, and the accurate polling at that, not the shitty polling. The shitty polling is stopped. If you notice, dear listener, it's stopped. It's gone now. 538 is silent, right? They're just trying to push their guy across the finish line, right? But all of the polling indicates that people know, Luke, that we're right? We're in the right on this.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's a good thing. That is a very good thing. So
yeah. The people are on our side, and even a third of Democrats don't believe that this election was honest.
It's absolutely true. Yeah.
So and I would guess actually even more than that. And whatever Democrats don't believe that this election was fraudulent are just straight up low information people. They're people who, flip on MSNBC every now and again and Trump's still there, like these are people who do not know or understand anything about politics. So like the Democrats who actually follow this, I'm pretty sure are all convinced this is a complete bullshit stolen election.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of, I don't know. I mean, we've gone through it already so many times, but it's just a matter of the left trying to maintain their power, and then they're trying to do a peaceful Here's the thing. They're trying to do a peaceful transition of power, but the people to whom they're trying to transition their power is the socialists, the commies on the left, the AOCs, the Bernie bros. That's where the real fight is. I mean, Biden's whatever, he knows who butters his bread. So whatever about
office for a very long time. For 47 years, he tried to procure this office. And so he wants this power. He wants it. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say, dude? I mean, I think we covered it thoroughly. Dear listener, I mean, we're not going to go through like all the different affidavits and this person said this and this person said that. I mean, we're going to see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. I'll say at a high level, I've personally lost a lot of confidence this week in the Trump legal team, and even Trump himself. I don't believe any of them had the foresight to know what needed to be done. We'll wait and see. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's a productive use of our time or your time listening to go through all the little nitty gritty details, because what's going to happen is going to happen. As far as when, I don't know, I think early to mid January, it'll be apparent who's going to be inaugurated on the 20th. But you know, who knows what the hell is going to happen between now and then, dude. I wanted to ask you, what were your thoughts on the Project Veritas thing this week?
In a way, I'm tempted to say that it is a nothing burger, right?
Yeah.
I really am. You know, in another way, I'm tempted to say that you get the underlying how the sausage is made, in terms of the metaphor being, dear listener, the sausage is the narrative, right? And you see exactly how they discuss it, how partisan they are, and how self-important they are. I find it fascinating. Do I think it means anything? These tapes are still coming out, so we'll see how much it means. We'll see. So,
yeah, I heard the first one, the first tape, and I was like,
yeah,
really, dude. I'm over it, man. I'm over it with Project Veritas. They're so overhyped, in my opinion.
I don't think so, man. They proved election fraud in San Antonio. They've done lots of things, man. So you know, yeah.
I don't know, but it's always this like super suspenseful drop, and then it's like Jeff Zucker, like, you know, discussing how, I don't know, man. It's like this is like the 10th time they're like, OMG, happening incoming, and then it's like a nothing burger. Or it's like but the guy with the Bernie campaign that was like the turbo commie, but he is like some stupid like low level campaign staffer, and they were blowing it up as if like, oh my god, an insider with the Bernie campaign is talking about the, you know, streets running with capitalist blood, and it's like some kid that dropped out of high school and he's like 25, stoner and broke, and like basically is doing this because he has nothing better to do, and then it just evaporates into nothingness afterwards, you know.
Well, now that I think is the problem. I have to respectfully disagree, except for this. I will totally agree that it is so weird how Project Veritas's reporting just kind of disappears after the fact. And you know, we know why that is. Social media suppression, lack of mainstream coverage, all of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But, you know, Project Veritas should, here's what my thing is with Project Veritas, Luke. Okay, they're James O'Keefe is a great hitman, and he is an honest journalist, right?
Agreed.
What they are failing to do is create and perpetuate a consistent narrative. It's just all over the place. It's all over the place. And until they rein it in and create a consistent narrative the way that we do, it will always be the same, right?
Dude, and now that you say that about all over the place and not having a consistent, I feel the same way about Justice Watch.
Judicial Watch? Yeah.
Not Justice Watch, Judicial Watch. Yeah. As of late.
Yeah.
It's just like they're just constantly FOIA requests, suing this person, that, and then you never hear the end of anything.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
It's just like, oh, we're going after this person. Oh, now we're doing this. Oh, now we have this FOIA request. Now we have that. Now we're suing this person. Now we're doing that. And it's just like on and on and on and on and on. I can't name one single thing that Judicial Watch has actually produced. I mean, a couple little drops here and there, but I can't name like one major thing that they've actually produced.
It is incoherent, and I love Project Veritas. I love Judicial Watch, right? But like, it just
Like they're jumping on board with the election lawsuits now. Oh, we're suing this person over the election laws. I expect that 2 months from now, I will have no idea what the fuck Judicial Watch actually did.
Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. Same with Project Veritas. You know what I mean? And they, I'm not going to call them unprincipled, right? I will say, other than just permanent fighting, I don't see the purpose, right? You are case in point, okay? You look at Steve Bannon's War Room, okay? There is a definite point there. All of the content they produce is for one reason, and that is to defend the election. They go through phases, right? The Kung Flu, okay? That was their purpose, getting the facts straight about the Kung Flu until the election happened. And now their purpose is everything they produce is in the frame of getting Donald Trump across the finish line. You understand exactly what the coherent message is, right? And yeah, man, I have to agree. Everything is just all over the place right now. And if I may say, which I do, you look at HSP, dear listener, you look at episode number 1 and get here to episode number 106, and you see exactly what we have been doing consistently without fail, right? I think Project Veritas and Judicial Watch, case in points, there are others, lack this at the moment. The same could be said for many. You know
what they are? They're like how the whole meme of Ben Shapiro, where he's like, Ben Shapiro destroys socialists with facts and logic.
Yeah.
It's like Judicial Watch destroys the DOJ with FOIA requests and lawsuits.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
meanwhile accomplishing nothing in the meantime.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it, Luke. Luke and I, dear listener, are promoting a message of unity for a specific purpose. Right now, we are, as people on the right, we're in a circular firing squad, right? You've got the Trump movement firing at the cuck Republicans, right? You've got Trump Republicans firing at Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in particular, but also the RNC, Ronna McDaniel, right? You've got all of this squawking going on. And this all happens because of lack of focus, dear listener. And so it's not just a message of unity that Luke and I promote. It is a message of focus, right? What matters, what doesn't matter. And
here's a good example of that. The left on Twitter, okay? As soon as Biden was president-elect, right? Ostensibly. I mean, dude, I've got a Twitter list, which I call, it's just shit libs. So like tweets from shit libs just is always popping up in my Twitter feed. And it's AOC, and it's Elizabeth Warren, and it's Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar, and Biden, and all that. Dude, as soon as it was Biden president-elect, in lockstep, suddenly, all of them at the same time, for days and now weeks on end, still going to today, we need to forgive student loans.
Yeah.
We need to erase student loans. Erase student loans. Forgive all of them in lockstep together.
Yes.
You know?
That's a great point. Yeah.
You know, just like boom. Like, okay, let's move on. We're done. We're done here. We're done with the election. We're moving on. What's next? Okay, student loans. Student loan forgiveness. You know,
unanimous focus. Yes.
Yeah. Where is the right in all of this shit?
Exactly. On our heels trying to defend a corrupt election. On our heels again.
Yeah, like day one of Trump's presidency, everybody on the right should have been tweeting out unanimously and together, fair elections, getting out in front of it, you know? But no, here we are with Biden president-elect, our backs against the wall, on our heel. Oh, FOIA requests. Oh, hey, now look, I'm going to sue this person. Oh, hey, I'm going to sue that. Dude, like get out in front. Unified, focused purpose.
Yeah.
This is the problem with the right. They just do not have the moral courage to go after what is right. And
hell, man, they don't have the physical courage, much less the moral courage. And you know,
yeah, like they're all about like, oh, let's wait till they do wrong and then we'll show them. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, get
And
out in front and fix the problem before it even happens. You know,
exactly.
like don't even fix the problem. Push towards the solution.
Yes.
Have a solution in mind. Have
Yes.
an ideal. Have a purpose, and push, 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 push. Instead, they're just like, oh, we're going to wait until we get pushed upon, and then we're going to file some FOIA requests and some lawsuits.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And I don't mean to be picking on Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch is actually like one of my favorite organizations.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like they're just fresh on the top of my mind right now. That's why I'm using them as an example.
Yeah. Sure.
Love Tom Fitton.
Yeah.
I love like all of that. Okay. We need more of that. But like, we also need moral courage on behalf of the politicians. Have a purpose, have a focus, and push, push, push. And don't wait to be pushed upon, because that's what's happening now. You wait to get pushed upon, and then it's like, oh, no, I'm going to try to not move.
Yeah.
You know, that's all the right is like, let's wait to get pushed upon, and then we just try to not move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, move and move in a direction.
Yeah.
And figure out what the hell that is, what direction that is, and push for it.
Yeah. And to that end, let me ask your prescription for this. I'll go first. Okay. My first prescription is resist everything. And I don't mean be pushed on. I mean, no, you start pushing back. Okay. You don't lose arguments to your liberal friends about, oh, well, it's great that William Barr agrees that there is no voter fraud. I hope we can put the election behind us. You say, no, bitch. No, we ain't done here yet. We ain't putting nothing behind us. Here's the proof of the election fraud. I would say also now we push forward for election fairness. I would say we push forward for the Second Amendment, and I would do it this way. You know what? Yeah. Okay, let's make a deal here. Let's make a deal. We can do universal background checks. We can do that. Yeah, we'll give you that. But in exchange, what we get to do is carry firearms in airplanes, firearms in courts. Anybody who is background checked can carry a firearm into a bar, can carry a firearm into a liquor store. We go on offense on ideas, dear listener. And that's all I got right now. So how would you prescribe it, Luke? Like how?
I mean, I would be like for me personally, I don't even think that's aggressive enough. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about firearms and airplanes, but
yeah. At least you can check them and carry them with you. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a guy carrying a firearm with him, but it was like all zip tied shut and whatnot. I think it was maybe some sort of Blackwater employee or something because he was definitely military, but he didn't. But he had a beard and stuff, so I think he was like former military. But he was like carrying a firearm with him, so I don't know. Maybe he was like some sort of security contractor or something like this. But no, dude, no, fuck that, fuck making deals. Like you just have the conviction to say no, and this is what the right way is. You don't compromise on what is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So then this really is the intelligent question. Okay. How, first of all, what is the yes? And second of all, how do you take the no and make it offensive?
Okay. I'll answer the former, and then the latter, I want you to give me a concrete example. So the former is you have to have an ironclad understanding of individual rights. And this is why it is so important to have, look, I mean, I'm not asking everybody to be fucking Aristotle over here. Okay. You don't need to, understand the Lockean understanding of property rights and have, read Wealth of Nations 5 times. There's roles to be played here. Okay. I try to do that. I try to take those sorts of tasks on myself. Now, I'm not so arrogant as to say like, oh yeah, I'm a moral philosopher on par with Aristotle. No, I'm not saying that, but there are those of us who take that task upon ourselves to defend those ideas. And that's why we do this show. So you have to have an ironclad understanding of what it means to defend individual rights and why that's important. And why is that important? It's important to defend individual rights in this context, in the context of voting. Okay, because you need individual rights, because as a human being, you are a thinking creature. This is our competitive advantage in nature, is that we think to act, to live. That's the logical process through which we as a species survive. It's cliche at this point, but yeah, we don't have teeth, big teeth, and claws and all this other shit, and we freeze to death easily and whatnot. Like, we have to think, right? We have to build shelter, we have to find clean water, we have to hunt, we have to build tools, we have to do all these things. We invented a thing called trade and a currency to facilitate that. As a species, we have to think, to act, to live. And to live, I don't mean to survive. I mean to live as a human being, qua human being. I mean, be happy, live happily.
Yes.
Right? And in order to do that, you have to have rights which allow you to keep the fruits of your labor, what you've thought about and that upon which you've acted to create. You have to have a right to keep that. And you have to have a right to defend that. And you have to have the right to be able to communicate why that's important, why those rights are important. This is freedom of speech, Second Amendment, right to property, all these sorts of things, everything upon which our country was founded. Okay. You have to have an ironclad understanding. And if you do, then those are the things toward which you can actually fight. That's the focus. The focus is individual rights, property rights, right to bear arms, freedom of speech, all these things about which we've been speaking for 2.5 years. And a lot of other people speak. I don't think quite so explicitly. I wish they would do so more explicitly. But these are the things toward which everyone is leaning. And the more explicit we can and honest we can get everybody to be about these things, then the better. That's the positive. That's the positive toward which we should be promoting. Going.
Okay.
How do you deal with the negative?
All right. I'll give you the concretization there too. But first, I want to argue this. Okay.
Okay.
When I talk about dealing with them in terms of universal background checks for firearms, okay, every patriot, well, not every patriot, but most who do have firearms could pass a background check because they don't go out and kill people and they don't commit crimes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It is a bait and switch that the left so frequently uses against the right, against us. Okay. If you pass this background check, okay, the background check, you take that, you exceed them the right to a background check, their litmus test, their sacred cow, and you demand more rights in exchange. You trap them into using the background check, their sacred cow, against them. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll give you a background check. You know what? Guess what that means? When you pass that background check, you have unlimited privileges with your firearm. Unlimited, right? And you advance the ball forward for individual rights by horse trading with them in Schadenfreude. When you get right down to it, that's
yeah. I see where you're going, and that makes sense logically.
Mm-hmm.
I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah,
the background check as it currently exists, sure, because people don't know this. I don't know about the current background check process, but I do because I don't know if I still am, but at one point,
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, at one point I was a certified professional background checker. I had to take the test and everything because I worked for a company that was a professional background checking company. I did sales for them, and I know intimately the background checking process for a firearm. Exactly. It is fucking pointless. It's useless.
Exactly.
It is a federal crime. Dear listener, do you know anybody who has committed a federal crime? I don't know.
I don't know one.
Yeah, I don't know anybody.
Huh.
I mean, have you ever heard of a friend getting arrested for peeing in a national forest and getting arrested for it? That's a federal crime.
Yeah, it is. And now I have done that, but I didn't say that though. No, my bad. I've never done
Well,
that.
there's a way to do it. You have to be 75 feet away from fresh water. I know that because of Boy Scouts. But, I mean, do you know anybody that's been arrested for tampering with mail? Someone's mail?
No, I don't. I don't know anybody
These are
who's
federal crimes.
Yeah.
Nobody commits federal crimes.
Yeah.
This is why the background check process for a firearm is fucking pointless. It's useless. Like nobody cares. Like, so yeah, I mean, if you want to trade that for some rights, I'm down with that. But here's the thing: is that you crack the door with the left. They say, okay, so you gave us the right to background check, but now we're going to change what background check means.
Yes.
To county level, which that's where all the real crimes are. So anybody who's gotten a speeding ticket within the last 15 years is no longer eligible to possess a firearm. You know, this is the thing with the left. You cannot even give them an inch, even if it's a compromise in your favor.
Well, yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, but no, I think what you're making is a fair argument. But I think if you're making a compromise with an honest person, I would totally agree with you. But I don't trust the left as far as I can throw them, you know?
That's the point, dude. Yeah. All right. So let me re-examine my premises, but it is an advocation of increasing our liberty with firearms. Okay. Now, all right. Now this thing about the concretization of the no, how do we go on offense with the no? And I asked you that for a deliberate reason. And I wanted to hear your thoughts about it. Because the concretization of it is that right now we are on defense, defending Trump in this fraudulent election. We are on defense. Okay. How I would say you go on offense with the no is flip the premise, right? No, it's not Donald Trump was cheated in Florida. No, or rather Georgia. Donald Trump was cheated in Wisconsin. No, you go for the whole enchilada. Donald Trump morally won the election. Donald Trump won the election, right? And you start there and you defend down, or rather attack down. Attack down.
I wouldn't even say that, dude. I would even be more aggressive.
Okay.
I wouldn't say Donald Trump won the election and then we justify. I would say the DNC is a criminal organization. And then we justify.
Yes. Donald Trump won the election. The DNC is a criminal organization, a criminal electioneering, racketeering organization. Yes, that's it. That's it.
And I mean, for me personally, and that's the important. But here's the thing: this is why we know we're in the right. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
it's like Donald Trump winning the election. That's like an afterthought, as far as I'm concerned. The forethought is prosecuting the organized crime syndicate that is the DNC and the left as we know it.
Thank you for that. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Go on fucking offense. Go on offense. Yeah.
And everybody, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Paul Ryan, everybody should be in lockstep on Twitter, on social media, on offense, saying we are together in this and we are going to do everything that we can to prosecute the criminal organization that is the DNC.
Yep.
We all know Donald Trump win, but we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with putting these people in jail. That's the narrative. That's how you go on offense.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Well said. Yeah. Yep.
And it's not, this isn't politics. This is a matter of our country. This is the very fabric of our country and your right to vote. I mean, as much as they go on about democracy, as much as they go on about that, they should be cheering us. And this is also how you go on offense. If you got some leftist friend that's like, oh, this is a coup, this is a fascism, this is authoritarianism. You say, you know what? Okay, you value democracy, right? I mean, we can talk about, whether we're actually a democracy or not, but you value democracy, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody should have a fair shake at the ballot box, right? Mm-hmm. You agree with that, right? Okay, great. So do you disagree with the idea that we should be ensuring that process is secure?
Right.
That's how you go on offense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but now with Trump at the helm, okay,
Yeah,
great. Well,
That's it. That's it. It's the end justifies the means. That's exactly it. Yes.
yeah, and so okay, great. So like you're okay with a democratic process being corrupted if it serves your political ends. And this is something else that I've been thinking of. Dude, like this is also how you go on offense, man. I was thinking about this earlier this week. There is no better, more obvious and concrete example, if you want to call it white privilege or whatever you want to call it. We use leftist terminology here, white privilege, than you being okay with the democratic process. I'm using all leftist terms here to just throw it in their face and go on offense, okay? There's no better form of white privilege, no more apparent form of white privilege than being complicit in corrupting the democrat process to get somebody who has done nothing for minority communities in 47 years.
Indeed.
Because your sensibilities are offended on Twitter.
Indeed. Indeed.
Your sensibilities are offended because of Trump's tweets, and therefore it's okay to put somebody in office who's done nothing for minority communities, and in doing so corrupting our entire democratic process because, again, your sensibilities are more
Even
important.
the vice president called him a racist in the debates. Even she called him a racist, you know? Now, I'm not saying racist, but there was a girl on that bus. Joe Biden, there was a girl on that bus, and that little girl was me. And dear listener, what this means is I ain't saying you're racist, but I'm saying you're racist. So illustrate this. Yeah.
This is how you put them on offense. Use their own language against them. Throw it back in their face. Be like, do you not see the white privilege there? That your sensibilities are more important than our minority communities across the country who have only suffered under Joe Biden's tenure.
Indeed.
And Kamala Harris spent her career putting black men in jail for crimes which she herself admitted to have been committing at the same time.
Yes. Oh my God.
But is that more important than your sensibilities?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And that's white privilege. You know, this is like how you go on offense with these people. You do not give them an inch and you throw their shit right back in their face. And yeah.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Yeah, and we don't.
Right there, we finally got to the. My bad, dear listener. My bad. We finally got to the pill here at the end. Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's how you deal with it, dear listener. That's how you do it. Yep.
And I learned that out in California. To be honest, like, California
did too. Yeah.
Yeah, California. Like living in San Francisco, you kind of reach a point where you're like, fuck these people. You know what I mean?
Oh, too well.
Yeah. You're just sick of their shit, man, because they just keep pushing on you and pushing on you and pushing. And you just get to a point where it's like, first of all, you have to think your way out of the problem, make sure you're right, and you got the truth on your side, and then you just practice. I remember I was out with this girl one night. She was just a friend, but like we were out having a drink. We'd had a couple drinks, and she is a turbo shitlib, and we got into a discussion about economics and freedom and this sort of thing. And I fucking destroyed her, left her like without a will to live afterwards. I went on this 10-minute rant, tear on her. Just completely debunked everything, asserted all the positives, and absolutely just annihilated literally anything that she could have possibly have thought about or said. And then she was just standing there, sort of just speechless and
twitching.
Yeah, and I actually felt bad, and I looked at her and I was like, "I'm sorry." I apologized to her, and then she was like, "Thank you, thank you." I felt bad. I genuinely felt bad. I just completely annihilated her, and
Well,
then
see,
I was
this
just
is how we go on offense going forward. There, back then, that made a lot of sense. Now there is no reason to feel bad. No longer.
oh
No.
yeah, totally. Now I wouldn't give a shit, you know.
Yeah, we don't feel bad. Yeah,
Yeah. She's thank you. She was thanking me for apologizing for destroying her completely and totally intellectually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, is that it for the show, man? We're at 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's wrap it. Man. You want to do my socials real quick?
Yeah, before we dip out, dear listener, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. You can find me on Twitter at Lucifer Skinner. It's on the screen, but if you're listening to audio only, that's LUKEFAHRSKINNER. You can find Russ on Twitter for now at RussZGM. You can find everything we do, including the Shoe Bros. By the way, dude, Ross and I are gonna do a little bit of a stream tomorrow night. So, dear listener, be sure to tune in.
Good deal.
Yeah, we're gonna. I don't know what we'll talk about. I'm sure we'll get into some politics, maybe some philosophy, something. I don't know. Probably not sports because that's not my wheelhouse. But yeah. So tune in. Ross from Shoe Bros and I are gonna do a little stream tomorrow. Probably early afternoon Central Time Zone. So tune in for that.
Yeah, send me a link, man. Send me a link. I'll shit post y'all. So
for sure, man. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, so find everything we do, zero-gravity-media.com. If you have feedback, send it to zero-gravity-media.com/contact. And you can find all of our audio, ostensibly, anyways, until we get our shit together and start actually putting it there, which is my fault now. On iTunes.
Now, I'm 2 episodes behind now at this point, so it's both of us. But sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, you can find everything that we do audio on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, not Podbean.
Podbean dead. Dear
Not
listener.
iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, but not Podbean. Damn it.
Yeah. Would they be so kind as to keep our no, they flushed our whatever we had on there 100 episodes. They flushed it. Yeah. That's fine.
Our 4 listens across 100 episodes.
Yeah, well, actually it was more impressive than that. We had a few hundred.
Did
you
we?
know? Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I went there, it was like 1 download in the last 30 days. It's like, oh great, thanks Podbean for rendering some shit video to YouTube that gets us 1 listen on your platform.
Yeah, exactly. So,
oh god, dude, I can't talk this much shit on on a live stream.
we might need them again someday. I mean, Podbean, were you to improve your service? Yeah, maybe we'll be back, but not for the foreseeable future. So there it is.
Yeah.
Man. I feel free at last. Thank God Almighty. We are free at last. I'm serious. I feel free of Podbean. I do. So there we go.
Russ has had a vengeance for Podbean. I find it hilarious.
Yeah, actually, not since the very beginning. For that first year, it was okay. And then when they sneak billed me for the second year, like a month in advance, when we had already decided to cancel it, because, dear listener,
that's when you began to hate them.
That's when I began to hate them. Yes,
when they sneak build you.
Yeah,
and that's expensive. That's like $350.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I was pissed, boy. I was pissed. So,
I can imagine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you like seeing that email come in, like your Podbean subscription has been automatically renewed, and you're just like reaching down for your firearm to like shoot your monitor.
We were still on Discord, and you messaged me right then. You're like, bro, I think you just got Podbean cucked. And I was like, yeah, I did. Email just came through.
Yeah.
So that's when it started, and dear listener, we're fine tuning right now. We're fine tuning the screws, right? And we're trying to get the message out there because, frankly, our message is impeccable. That's it. You know what I mean? It is. We've been right about everything. I'm not trying to be arrogant, dear listener. You're a rider on this trail. We do this show for you so that you become likewise impeccable, right? But Podbean wasn't getting the message out there. It's just as simple as that. It's a business decision, business decision. It wasn't working. And so we're going to be making some changes, including losing Podbean. Our 4 audio platforms that we have right now pass muster, and we're going to keep doing it this way for a while, and things will improve. We promise. 100%
Indeed.
promise. Yep.
Indeed.
Yep.
All right, dude. Well, let's call it.
All right, dear listener, the ride goes on. You believe this. There's going to be some shit to go down this week. We said it last week, and it turned out to be correct. It's going to go down this week as well. So gird your loins, strap into the saddle, keep your powder dry, and ride tight and ride hard. And Luke and I will be back at you before you know it, on time and under budget, next week for episode number 107, prime number episode, which always go well for the HSP boys, and we happen to know that they go well for you too. We will be back at you before you know it. Meanwhile, dear listener, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And Luke and I will see you next week. You believe that. All right. Meanwhile, Luke, let's stay in shitpost for a little bit. And you take care of yourself too, brother. You heard?
Yeah. If you want to join our Discord server and shitpost with us afterwards, dear listener, hit me up and slide into my DMs.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
All right. Like.